Hello people! In this video I want to talk a bit about two very interesting jungle paths in the game between BDS and Team Heretics that both go to the top lane, which is a rarity nowadays, considering that most teams play to bot lane for the most part. So yeah, I just wanted to address why that's the case and some other cool stuff that happens this game, so let's get into it. First of all, why the hell are both of them pathing top lane, when bot lane is so much higher reward usually? Well, first of all, top lane is a very volatile matchup. We have a Darius against a Renekton lane, which are both champions that want to win early game, and they both have their different ways of doing so. Which in this context means if this lane is being left alone, then the Renekton will just slowly win it in isolation. Why? Because he can take short trades against the Darius, and just slowly trade HP, and sustain himself up with Q, and always dodge the Darius Q, so Darius doesn't get to do the same. And then Darius wins if he gets an all-in, but if the Renekton plays it well, then Darius will never get an all-in. So in isolation, Renekton is going to win. However, in the 2v2, when both junglers are also involved, that will change in favor of the Darius, because then it's going to be a way more extended fight, and Darius excels at those because he has his passive. And so that's why it makes sense for Gio to path top this game, because if he can turn this in isolation losing lane into a winning lane, then that's going to be really good for him, obviously. And then the way they're going to punish that is they're going to have Adam shove this, and then later this wave is going to have to bounce eventually, and so they will play on a freeze right here and try to gank the Renekton. And that's also why it makes sense for Jankos to go top, even though 2v2 should be losing, because once they have a freeze set up here, they can actually try to play the 2v2 because they're going to have a big wave, and then the big wave makes it a playable 2v2 again. And so we're going to see exactly that happening after Shio decides to skip his Crux to go into this bush and try to cheese gank Evie, which is going to be successful, and so they're going to get Evie's flash here. And now Evie is in exactly the situation we described, where he's going to have a pushing wave. Jankos is going to go bot, take a scuttle, and he's going to reset. And now look, Jankos would usually want to go to his bot camps again because they're going to be responding in this order, but he knows that Evie now has a bounce back without flash, and so he also knows that Gio is going to try to abuse that, obviously, because why wouldn't he? So instead of going bot to his camps, Jankos just beelines for top lane, because he's aware that he has to help Evie break this, otherwise Evie's game is just going to be over. So Evie takes a reset to be full HP again, and then he TPs, and then Jankos walks in, and they try to break the freeze together successfully, because again, they have not only a level lead on the Renekton, but also a really big wave, so despite usually having winning 2v2, Adam and Gio can't really play this, and so they get to crash the wave. But BDS aren't quite done yet with playing top, because they have another card up their sleeve. This very nice ward by Evie, by the way. Would be preferable if he puts it here, because this is easy to check, but still, it's good to go for stuff like this. I see too few top laners do this. But anyway, the other card that BDS have up their sleeve is a winning midlane matchup, which means the Tristana can now move to top lane and attempt to dive the Renekton, which Jankos at this point is like, oh fuck it, I gotta clear my bot camps, guys. Otherwise, my jump is gonna be useless because I need resources. And she is gonna be like, yeah, I don't care. I'm just gonna go here and dive this guy because he has no flash and I wanna get my Darius ahead. And so that's what BDS end up doing. They force mid prio and they send both their Tristana and their Sejuani top to dive the Renekton. And they get their Darius a nice first blood, or well, it ends up being on the Tristana, but still. They set the Renekton behind in order to win themselves the top lane. So yeah, that's an interesting example of a rare game where both teams actually decide to play on the island that is top lane.